Charlie and Jeremy, is it all right if you guys actually kick us off as our first presenter?
Sure.
Let's try to keep it to 2 minutes if possible so that we have time for questions at the end.
Yeah, so as a fourth grader, it's hard to imagine having a large impact in an issue as large and complex as climate change. But since fourth grade, climate activism has been an increasing part of our lives and of our passions.
I'm Jeremy Clark, and with Charlie Abrams, we started our endeavors with a blog in fourth grade called Two Green Leaves, but since shifted our focus to a bill in Oregon called the Clean Energy Jobs Bill. Clean Energy Jobs is a cap and trade program which forces large polluters in Oregon to buy licenses to produce carbon. The estimated $700 million of revenue annually will go to renewable energy job training, efficient irrigation systems to combat the recent droughts, and the communities hit first and worst by climate change. Charlie and I have pushed the Clean Energy Jobs Bill for 3 years now. We've been lobbying at the state capitol, testifying in front of committees, and promoting the bill through different media forms like we're doing right now.
Since education has been one of our initial goals, I've worked with other climate activists in order to get climate change taught in public schools in the PPS school curriculum. And since speaking out, the Portland Public Schools now have correct education on climate change to get educated and inspired just like we did, all 60,000 kids, which is the next generation of climate activists.
Although our focus has shifted a lot in the past 5 years, working with other climate activists and organizations like Citizens Climate Lobby, Renew Oregon, and Our Climate, who have taught us the political side of climate change and helped us expand and grow. So we really can't thank them enough.
The solutions we're implementing now are affecting our future forever. We fight for the climate because we need to know that we've made a difference 50 years in the future, no matter what that world may look like. We stand with all the youth uniting one voice because this is not a separated or partisan fight. And although we all feel the effects of climate change very differently, this is our future, so this is our fight. Thank you.
Awesome. So if anyone on the live chat has, or on the live stream has any questions, feel free to kind of type it into the chat, or unmute yourself in that case and you can ask the question. And then does anyone in the room have any questions?
Yeah, we can start off with anyone in the room for Jeremy and Charlie.
Give us some examples of the kinds of jobs that are being created as a result of your work.
The kind of jobs in the economy. Well, so the Clean Energy Jobs Bill, because the main goal is to make fossil fuels more expensive because people aren't going to buy it or produce it if renewable energy is the cheaper option. And so as a result, we kind of have to, or I guess we don't, but the people who are in those fossil fuel jobs kind of have to make a sacrifice, which is kind of a tough thing to take someone's job away. So what we're trying to do, or what the bill tries to do, is invest a lot of money in these free renewable energy job training programs so that hopefully displaced workers can have a smoother transition into the clean energy economy.
Yeah, and the bill makes more jobs than it displaces. And the jobs are now like clean, renewable energy. It also helps like wildfire prevention, the poor communities that are getting hit by climate change, and a lot of other issues that Oregon needs right now.
Any other questions from within the room? I have a question. So you guys, it's impressive being able to get all the way to DC and work with lawmakers and try and build this. Do you have any tips for people? Because I think a lot of us would think like that's way too hard to actually try and introduce something like actual legislative change. Do you have any tips for anyone who might think it's too difficult?
Yeah, joining a climate organization is like how we've been able to do all this. And the climate organizations are like really open for people to join, especially youth. And youth have the largest impact, especially when you're talking about an issue like climate change, since we are the affected generation. And And by joining a climate organization, you can really get into the political side of climate change, which we've done a lot in the past 4 or 5 years getting into it. And yeah, you can really see your impacts just on the legislative side and the state and in the country.
Cool. Any other questions?
Just a quick caveat, did you see the New York Times Black magazine about climate change? That we should take an action 30 years ago. It was just out last 2 weeks ago. Basically, you guys have taken off where they left off. They said 30 years ago, we knew all this from James Hansen and others, and now we need to take action. That was 30 years ago. And so you're fully set up to succeed in that regard because I think the pumps are primed to let the floodgates open, and you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.